Hello and welcome to Streamtabulous. This is the second part to setting up your mobile phone to have the screen that you're seeing now. If you've seen the previous video on how to use your mobile phone through USB to HDMI to a HDMI capture device into your PC for under $10 Australian is what I'm currently have parts on order for, then this is the second part to that video on how to set it up in OBS and get the quality of the image that you're seeing now. So let's get on with the show. Okay, so you've watched the video on how to use a USB HDMI capture device and a USB-C to HDMI out. You've connected it up to your computer, and now you're looking at setting up OBS. So here we have a blank OBS. The first thing we want to do is we're going to add a scene. We do have a blank scene here. We can rename that and use that one. So in this case, we can do that, but I'll show you how to add one anyway. So we'll add a scene and we'll call it HDMI capture. My spelling's wrong, forgive me. I have great difficulty spelling. Now that we've created that, we come up to here to add source. Your sources may be down here where my audio mixer is. So we want to add the source. And we want to add a video capture device. So we'll add the video capture device. We'll just leave it as that for its name. And we want to come through and tell it what it's capturing from. Now, my USB capture card comes up as USB video, so I'm going to click that. Now, we have me here. I'm going to come down and it says resolutions. I'm going to put in 1920, whoop, there we go, it auto-detected as soon as I start putting 1920 in by 1080. That's the capture device resolution. It's asking for the frames per second. You can match the device. I find putting it at 60, I get less latency issues with the audio sync. My device only apparently supports 30, but for some reason it comes up with the 60 option. So perhaps they need to update the information from what it actually supports, or I got lucky. And it's a better firmware and a slight hardware increase inside of it. Yours may differ. So if you have the 60 option, I'd be using that one. Everything else I'm going to leave as default. Now, my phone is super widescreen. So the input of the device is converting that to only 1080 resolution, which means we're left with this awkward looking resolution on the screen. So what we want to do here is we want to come under filters. We want to go to effects, the plus button. We want to come down and find aspect scaling, or scaling and aspect ratio. We're going to click that and add that filter. And we're going to click the drop down for the resolution, and we're going to click 4:3. Now we have the corrected aspect ratio, and we have it filling our screen rather nicely with a small black bar. From there, I'm going to leave this one. I'm not going to play with this one any further. I'm going to remove this scene so it doesn't get confusing, and I'm going to lock that. Now from here, if you've got a mouse connected, you'll be able to control your phone the way you normally would. If I exit this, you'll see here that's the application I'm using, HD video camera on the Android store. Be careful, there are a few different ones listed. I think this one's listed under HD video camera 2003, but there are a whole heap with the same name. I'll try to put a link up to the correct one and hopefully that works. You can come over here and you can hide that. So we'll do that for now. And we'll come across here. Yours may differ with your on-screen display and your GUI if you're just using your default one. So I want to add another scene. I'm going to call this one HDMI camera. Okay. I'm going to rename this actually. I'm going to put this one to commas set before capture. That will remind me that every time I come into it, that I want to come through and just do that. Okay. So it'll be quicker for me to find. Now we come down here to HDMI camera, and what we're going to do up here is we're going to add, and we're going to do a source mirror. So we'll add that one, and we'll put camera. Okay. Now we only have one in there, so we can click that, and we'll transform that. And now I've just reversed it, so I'm not getting, I'm getting what I would be used to actually seeing and what people would be used to seeing talking to me. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to come across, I'm just going to crop out that little bit there. And I'm going to move that, and then I'm going to crop that top bit until I get my green, and I'm going to just crop that bottom bit. And then I'm going to expand it to fill as much of that space as possible. Use the arrow keys for those minute movements. And now we have my camera set up. Okay, so that's the phone getting caught. And as you can see, it is nice and clean from the green screen now. Now, you can come across here and you can go under filters. And we can set this green screen up now. So we'll come through and we'll do a chroma key. And we can just leave that as default, just like that. And there we go. We've got our green screen set up. Now we can add a source to this one. You can add any kind of source that you want. You can put a just an image for your background, which is what I generally use. This case, let's have a look at the media source. We'll go browse on loop. We'll click that. Move my camera above it, and now you've got me sitting in a lounge room. So, and I fill the frame. So there you go. That's quick and easy, and that's how we set it up. And then from there, what you want to do is you want to add your microphone source. Have it off underneath the settings. If you've got your microphone under there, disable it. Because if it's underneath the settings, it goes through every single scene that you're in. It's better, especially if you're breaking to something like a Be Right Back scene, that there is no audio there, so you don't have to worry about someone hearing you in that. So we can come through here and we can just find our microphone. So audio input capture, we'll click that, we'll leave that as is. We'll come through and click on my microphone, which is a Kmart microphone. Once we have that set, we're good. So I don't think there's much else that we can really talk about here. This is the quick and easy to it. The rest of the settings that you'd be looking at would be the fine tuning. So you can come to your camera, we can come through, we can add our color to it so it's easier to find. We can add a color to our microphone to make it easier to find. We can rename this to video backdrop. Now think about when you're setting it up, what looks most realistic. That way when the viewer is actually viewing it, they have a more immersive feel. If it is just the static solid color, it might be great for gaming or whatever, but it can be a little bit overwhelming to watch. Eyes have a tendency to wander and want to look at other things. So having a more immersive background on your video is definitely a way to go. So think of those little artistic things when you're actually doing it. So we'll come through and we can lock all these. And we can come under filters under the camera here. And we can keep adding to that if we want. We can go color correction, and we can move that to the side, and then we can look at ourselves here, and we can go, well, what do we want? We want more color in the face. Maybe we want a little less contrast. Maybe we want a little more gamma to it. Maybe we don't want it as light. So you can come through and play with those to where you're actually happy with. So I'll make that one a little bit darker. We can also sharpen it up. So we can come through now and add another filter to it and come to sharpen. Add that to the screen. And then we can adjust that to where we're happy. I find around about the 20% sort of marker works. And as you can see, that is a very HD looking, almost digital SLR image right from a mobile phone. And we've simply used I've used a video application where I can actually hide as much of that graphic user interface as possible to get the best out of it. My camera does have 2 lenses on it, and I've tried using the default LG V30 camera application, but unfortunately with that camera application, when it's zoomed out, the CCD on my second lens for widescreen is a much lower resolution, less megapixels, less quality. So even though it is wide enough that I can come in and actually crop it to the green screen and then expand it out to hide all that graphic user interface, bringing it in like that, you suddenly see how poor the actual quality is of that widescreen CCD of that camera, and you can see the pixelations, and for mine it looks like garbage. If you've got a newer flagship phone, your widescreen might actually be very high definition and capture images with this sort of quality, but in the ultra wide screen, where you can just get it to where you need to be and then crop your GUI. So, but this is why that I use the HD video camera app that I'm currently running. There is another thing I want to show you with the app that I'm actually running. So we'll come through down here. Come back to this. If we come through here, I can actually, on screen with my mouse, adjust all my settings. So if I needed to, I could zoom in. So if I was sitting well and truly back from the camera, I can just go like that, and I can bring it right into where I want it to be. So you can set that nicely. I can do all the color corrections, the ISO and the white balance, just by coming through and clicking on one, and then I can make it darker or lighter. It'll come up like that. Bring it back to 124. And every time I exit this application, it actually remembers all my settings, which makes it far better for my use. So I know every time I come in that my little stand that I showed in the video of what I'm currently using for this LG phone to actually sit on with the USB out to HDMI, the little tripod that was designed for a ring light, where that phone's currently sitting on, it's always in the same position. So all I've got to do is put the phone on, move it until I get my junk, like the microphone there, and get myself centered on the screen, put my chair into position, come over, set before capture, come down to my main screen here, just move that mouse out of the way so it drops off that, push the mouse off the side of the crop screen, and again, I can move myself into position, I can move my camera back a little bit if I need to, and you've got the perfect high quality video done for, you can get these devices, both of them, for easily 10 Australian dollars. I have 2 on order at the moment. Both the HDMI capture, I thought, why not? I'll get a second one. And I have the USB A-type MHL for the old Samsung Note, the Note 4. That's the other thing. Make sure, if you're doing this, that you download the app onto your phone for USB-C to HDMI checker or MHL checker. and run that on your phone, and it will tell you if your phone supports either one of those devices, so you know when you're buying it, you're buying the right one. Because unfortunately, Oppo, I think it's HTC, even the Pixels and some of the lower Samsung phones no longer support the HDMI out. They seem to think streaming your phone is more than enough, but they forget there is a lot of latency and there's a lot of lag in that, and it is not perfect. The way of doing it like this is flawless. There's no latency, there's no lag, you're not going to have any issues. Make sure that your phone is on flight mode. If it's not on flight mode, you may get someone send a message and it will just pop up on the screen, and little things like that. Your alarms will still come up on the screen, so if you're doing a recording, be aware that if you have an alarm set to go off and you're in the middle of a recording, you're going to get that on the screen. So always be conscious and aware that you are recording from a mobile phone, and you want to reduce those sorts of things from happening, notifications, updates, and so forth. I always put it into flight mode before I start. I have forgotten a few times, and that's been really frustrating. I'll get a notification and my camera will just go to a black screen, and I'll get a little drop down at the top saying you've received a message or whatever like that. So keep that in mind when you're using your mobile phone. The other thing is, I've tested this phone. I do take it out of its little flip case before I put it in its stand. So if you've got it in a case, keep that in mind. Feel your phone. Make sure your phone's not overheating, because you may have problems like that. I have run this for about an hour with no issues of heating, no issues of battery drain or anything like that. So there's some of the things to think about when you're actually setting your mobile phone up to use. So you can come down here now and you can rename that to anything you want. So you can put this as main, and then you can come through and you can drop in whatever you want. Or if you really want, you can come through and you can add a new scene. We can rename this to, we'll say full screen. Full screen. Okay. We can move that to the top. We can come through here and we can go add, and we should be able to go, where is it? Add a scene. Now this time we're going to add HDMI camera, and just like that, we've got the HDMI camera scene set up there. Okay, so from there we can come through and we can add little things like a media source, for example, and put like and sub, and we can find that video. So we'll come through here, we'll add the filter, we'll add a chroma key to that. Done, quick and easy. We'll quickly change that to loop, bring that in, we'll click that. We'll move that down to where we need it to be. We'll lock it. We'll remove the loop. And then from there, it'll run once from here. We should do. Yep, loop is off. Okay. So now we can cross that off like that. And then when we're talking to you, of course, we can say the usual, which is always, and I do mean this, like, subscribe, and get the bell on for notifications. If you found this video helpful, also share it to your friends, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter. I have not seen anyone on YouTube personally do this and use their phone for it. And webcam quality is hot garbage. The less webcams that sell, the more those webcam manufacturers are going to realize that they need to step up to the plate and do better quality. And also that margin of the prices would hopefully reduce. There is no reason, with the amount of e-waste that's out there, with the amount of leftover parts of the CCD of the camera which is in your mobile phone now, couldn't be taken up and put into a simple web camera and used without having to worry about the amount of storage and the amount of OS interface and so forth. They can cut it right back and make it very, very cheap and have this quality in a webcam. There is no reason why it can't be done. So Make sure you like and subscribe, get the bell on for notifications, and share this video, and let's get the word out there so new YouTubers like myself and other people which are in the boat where they do not have the income to fork out a lot of money, or they've been bitten by going out and buying a $100 web camera like I did with the Nexigo webcam. So they know and they don't get bitten as well. So let's help everyone out and share the video, and I will see you in the next Streamtabulous video. So there it is. That's how to set your mobile phone up if you've connected it up through HDMI to your PC, to use it through OBS to get this quality image on your screen, and how to get it all going perfectly. Now, if you want to see more content like this, or if you've viewed my some of my videos and you've seen some of the things that I've done or have OBS and how it works going through transitions, intro screens, and you're interested in that and you're like, well, how did I do that? Feel free to comment below and ask the question, and I will look at doing a video for that. I myself, I'm new to YouTube and I'm trying to get content out there. So every little bit of help of liking, subscribing, getting the bell on, sharing my videos. If you can take this and share it, as I said before, it'd be greatly appreciated. And I will see you in the next Streamtabulous video. Thank you for watching my video and sticking around to the end. If you like my videos, it'd really help me out if you could like and subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithm to push my videos out there to more viewers, which in turn helps me and helps everyone. So thank you for watching my video and hanging around to the end, and I will see you in the next video.